Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the 2U's of 2U's Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at 2usfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our 2U's Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Marsha. How's everything in Seattle?
Good. Beautiful day today. Beautiful sun. But
nice.
Cold, you know. Mm-hmm. That typical fall. Really bright blue sky, no clouds, full sun, but cold when you're in the shade.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, when I say cold, it's not like what I envisioned, like Minnesota cold or Duluth cold, you know, Maine
Iceland,
cold. But
Iceland cold.
Yeah, Iceland cold, Greenland cold, Antarctica cold. It's just cool in the shade. But anyway.
Well, we had a big rainstorm on Monday, and then yesterday we had a little bit of rain. I think Robert said we got like 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches overnight, and then in the morning. So that was exciting. And then I saw on the computer this morning that funnel clouds were sighted in Salinas. Mm-hmm. So nothing touched down,
scary.
But there were funnel clouds sighted in Salinas and Hollister. So I didn't see any such thing, but anyway, yeah. And then yesterday when I was walking home, you know, it wasn't super cold. A lot of times when it's raining, you know, it kind of is a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
But when I was walking home yesterday when I was walking to a meeting in the afternoon, and then when I was walking home last night after my night class, it felt like fall was over and winter had started. Again, this is not, you know, Minnesota cold or Iceland cold, but it was probably in the low 50s, which is, I mean, that's for that time of night, that's really pretty cool. So anyway, we're well into fall and maybe even on to winter here in Salinas. But then you never know. Mm-hmm. Next week we could have 80-degree temperatures.
Yeah.
October is one of those kind of months.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we aren't going to have any really warm days, but we'll have nice days. I mean, fall is just nice here, you know. But anyway, I was going to say about weather is because now my brother being in California, I get weather reports all the time. He was talking. There must have been rain all over California because in the desert, he said there was a huge rainstorm came through.
Oh, okay.
So you must I think it was Sunday, Monday. I mean, the same time period that you're talking about. So I think it was all over.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was coming from not the normal direction for us. Which is why it was so cold, you know, why the temperature was so cold yesterday after the rain stopped. So anyway, yes, that's our weather report. The 2U's weather report has now concluded.
Well, I was out of town again, and we had pretty good weather, but we went down to the Washington coast again. This past weekend, just a short trip, went Friday, came home Monday. And, but we went early on Friday. So we went to the beach on Friday and went to the beach on Saturday. But then I texted you about this, but Enzo must have eaten something on the beach. So Saturday night, I was up about 6 times in the middle of the night. And finally with him, you know, taking him out and, just like he gets really weird. I don't know other people, if their dogs get sick, if your dogs do this, but they just stand and stare. And I think they're trying to figure out what's going on with them or something. I don't know. And so I couldn't get him to go up and down the stairs. I had to practically I can't really carry him, but you know, like going back up the stairs, I'd put his front feet up on the step and then push him up by his rear end and then keep doing that up the stairs.
He probably wanted to stay down near the door.
Right. Mm-hmm. I don't think he knew what he wanted, honestly, because he would like, then he'd go and he'd jump up on the bed and like just, big sigh and like lay down. Mm-hmm. And then he'd get up and he was pacing around. Mm-hmm. So finally I just thought, okay, enough of this. And I just went and put on my coat and warm clothes and wool socks and everything. And I just sat by the door. There was like the house we rented, there was like a mud room right before you go outside. And there's a pretty comfortable chair, not like a straight back chair, but like a easy chair there. And so I just sat in that and put him on his pillow and put him on his leash and looped it over the door handle so he wouldn't wander around the house. And then he would get up, and I probably let him out 10 times.
Wow.
And finally, I won't go into the thing, but he finally got rid of whatever it was that was bothering him, and then he sort of settled down. But then Sunday was just recovery for me and for him. I mean, I didn't sleep at all. I was so exhausted on Sunday. So it was a good trip to the beach, but it was also kind of hard. And then, he was kind of out of it even on Sunday till we started the chicken and rice diet, and he sort of perked up by about 3:00. He was more his normal self,
Yeah.
But anyway, that was kind of hard. But
well, that's the second time it's happened that you've gone to the beach and he's had a stomach problem. Yeah,
because we went. So it's never happened at Seabrook. This is the first time it's happened at Seabrook, but it happened when, and I don't even remember now when it was. Like, was it February or something? That I went with Kim down to Bandon, Oregon.
Yeah,
and he got into something. It was the exact same thing where like he's super stiff, like his whole body's stiff, and he's like standing there just staring off into space and really glassy eyed, And that's the first time he's really behaved like that. And I thought, this is exactly what I thought. Oh, he's eaten drugs is what I thought. Oh, I thought he seemed like he was drugged, It's really scary. And of course, this, everybody knows this. At night, everything seems worse than in the light of day.
Yes.
And so I was laying there in bed or then like sitting in the chair, and I thought, oh, it's just something he ate on the beach. But then I thought poodles have that, they're prone to, is it called bloat?
Bloat,
where where their stomachs twist.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, he's 9. It's never happened. It's probably not happening. But I still was just, that's what I start thinking of at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fine. He's just in his usual place where we record, crashed out on the bed, but he's fine. He's back to his normal self. It's just something on the beach. I mean, there's just a lot of things on the beach. But anyway. Yeah. That's more information than people wanted to hear about my dog getting sick. Sorry, people, just skip through that part. Anyway.
Oh, well, okay. It happens.
Yeah, I know. But it was still nice down there.
Anybody who has animals.
Anyway, okay, but we should get into this because the real part of the podcast, because you have a Zoom call coming up, and I have an appointment to get to. So should we get into the real meat of the podcast?
Let's do it. Yeah. And and it'll be different. A lot of times I'm just going to talk about how the sausage is made here. A lot of times, Marsha and I talk about how we already talked about something. A lot of times before we start, we have a long time to chit chat. And today, Marsha's going to hear everything for the first time, and I'm going to hear everything for the first time right during this show. So,
no pre-chit chat.
No. Oh, so I'm not sure if you're all in for a treat or what. Maybe it will sound the same. Maybe people won't be able to tell. But anyway, so
probably not. Anyway,
so before we get started on that, I do want to talk about some feedback that we got. We have Caroline who messaged us and said, "Hello, I've listened to your podcast almost from the beginning, I think. I'm listening to you talk about knitting and the movies. I'm in England, but one of our favorites is Alive and Kicking. A bit of a crackly movie, but there's a lot of knitting, spinning, and even fulling. It's a great watch. Enjoying the show. So anyway, I'm going to definitely watch this. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it sounds like it would be really, really fun.
Yeah.
I assume she's talking about the 1950s movie about the women who escaped the nursing home. So there's a couple of movies came up when I Googled it, but I'm assuming that this is the one because it looks like it would definitely have knitting, spinning, and even potentially fulling content. So, yeah.
Well, and I have a question for Caroline too, because the phrase "a bit of a crackly movie." So, Kelly, you and I did talk just briefly before we started recording. Is crackly referring to the sound quality, or is crackly an English slang term for something about the movie? So we looked it up and we can't figure it out. So Caroline, if you hear this, educate us.
Yeah.
What that means.
Yeah. I like learning those phrases. Like when I listen to, audiobooks, and a lot of times it's like, police procedurals, British police procedurals, and there'll be phrases, little turns of phrase that they use that I'm not familiar with. And then I'll start to, if I've been listening to like a lot of them in a row, because, some of them are in our series. And so I'll listen to one and then I'll think, I'm going to listen to the next one in the series. So sometimes I've listened to like 3 or 4 in a row, and I find myself after that many hours of listening, like, I start using those phrases in my head,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm getting, this is becoming part of my own vocabulary in a way that I didn't expect.
So, I'm going to watch it. In fact, I'm on my own tonight, so I may even watch it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So, because I need something good to watch. Okay. And then also, Kelly, we wanted to welcome and thank our new patron, Becky. Didn't you want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah. So Becky is our newest patron, and we really appreciate your support, Becky. Thank you so much, and welcome to the show. Perhaps you've been a longtime listener. I don't know, but yeah, our Patreon page is patreon.com/2Us if anyone is interested. And I really appreciate all of the patrons and their support for helping us to build this community. I really feel like we have just a wonderful community of listeners, and with the home along, we'll talk more about this later, but with the home along, for example, we're hearing from some people that we don't normally hear from in the Ravelry group, and when we'll do certain things, and then we'll get comments from people that are, not the people we normally hear from. And it's like, oh yeah, there are more people than that out there who listen to us. And it really is a fun thing to know that we've been able to build this community of fiber adventurers, and the support of our patrons is very helpful in that. So thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Should we get into projects?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
I'm going to let you start if that's okay, since I think you have some big things to talk about.
Oh, yes. Well, I think this is so funny, and I'm really perplexed. But anyway, I have 2 finished projects.
Whoa, Marsha. 2
so I have
projects.
2, yes. So 2. So the first one is a shawl called Elinya, I think it's pronounced, by Ambah O'Brien. And I used Hazel Knits IArtisan Sock yarn in a colorway Sassafras, which is kind of a brown, and Jorstad Creek Cornwall in the colorway Flamingo. And the other one I finished is Simple Shawl, which I just did the second one, right, in that my Handspun. But Simple Shawl is by Jane Hunter, and I finished that, and I cannot find this yarn online, but it's called Michael's CWD in the colorway San Francisco Fog. And I bought that. Do you remember years ago when Stitches was in Santa Clara. And then after we went to that, you dropped me off at Bart, and I went in and I spent a couple days in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I bought that yarn in San Francisco. Anyway, the thing about both of these shawls, I started both of them. I don't know why I started both of them in March of 2018. And and so the Elinya, with the two colors, that one I knit the entire shawl, and the bind off is a picot bind off, which I had done about 3/4 of it was bound off, and then I stopped, and I have no idea why I stopped. So the other day I was a Sunday, and again, I decided I'm taking the Sunday just to do stuff, for my, finish stuff. So I bound off that shawl and washed and blocked it. And then Simple Shawl with the Michael CWD, that one, I had knit the entire shawl and bound it off and just put it in a project bag and left it. I never washed and blocked it. And I think the reason why is I noticed that I had dropped a stitch. So I just put in with those stitch markers that open and close. Mm-hmm. I had looped that through, and maybe that's why. And that one I noticed that I cast it on in March of 2018, and I finished knitting it in August 2021, which is still a really long time. That's 3 years. But I think what happened is I knew before I washed and blocked it, I needed to fix that stitch, and I just never got around to it. So anyway, they're ancient projects, but they're now done.
Yeah, cleaning up your project page, Marsha. That's great.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations
Ridiculous.
on your big finishes.
I know.
That's
my
cool.
big finishes. Anyway, I have more things I need to get to. Like a skull, but that is not happening. Even though it's October, that is just not happening. Anyway, my socks with the red heart and soul, that is sort of now kind of slightly on the back burner because I'm on to other things. Like I was finishing those shawls, and so anyway, but I'm working on those periodically. The deer scarf, I'm knitting on that right now. And that's the one that if people are new to the podcast, I'm just using old acrylic red yarn, and I'm knitting a scarf for a concrete deer sculpture that my son has at his house. And I just measured it, and it's about 8 feet long now.
Oh wow, that's fantastic!
I need to change this because I said in the show notes it's 6 feet. It's actually about 8. And I showed it. Ben came by yesterday, and we were talking about it. He said he just wants me to knit and make it as long as I possibly can. Just use all of it.
Yeah.
Because he just thinks it'd be fun just to keep wrapping it around. So I'm just going to keep going.
How much yarn do you have?
So I don't know. I have quite a bit. I mean, I think I can make this easily 10 feet and still have yarn left to make the fringe.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
It's still every time it's funny. I took this to the beach and I worked on it in the car on the way down to the beach. And I'm usually knitting in home with at night on this, so I don't really see the full impact of the color. But when you have it in broad daylight in the sun, it is very, very, and I mean very red. And it glows kind of.
And it's probably kind of shiny. You know how the acrylic yarn is kind of shiny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's what is this? It's Caron,
Okay.
Caron, that old stuff called Wind Tuck. And it's old. I mean, it's called it's 100% Orlon.
Okay, yeah.
So, which is some sort of I mean, just from the label, it looks like it's really old yarn.
Yeah, I don't think they call anything Orlon anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was like a brand name of a type of acrylic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and then my big project I'm working on is Mountain High by Heidi Kermeyer. And I'm using my Handspun, which I call Flowers from My Garden, which is all pinks and browns and greens. And the last time we talked, remember, I was having I had some difficulty getting started. Mm-hmm. But now I'm now, I'd say the body is about 11 inches. So I did the whole yoke, put the sleeves on yarn waist, joined, in the, anyway, started under the arms, and I've knit, I'd say it's about 11 inches, and I have another 7 rows, I think. Actually, I haven't measured it. I didn't
very
really
much left at all.
Yeah, I have about 7 rows, and then I start, and I don't know what to call. I can't call it the ribbing because it's just a garter stitch. But the bottom band is about 3.5 inches of garter stitch, and but I think what I'm going to do when I get to that point, I'm going to just put that on waist yarn, and I'm going to do the sleeves.
Yeah,
and then I'll go back and finish the body. But I've made pretty good progress. So when did I cast this on?
You cast it on the first time when you went to the retreat, right before you went to the retreat.
Right.
And then you came back, and the last time we recorded, you had, I think, just restarted it. So that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, let me look here at... it must have been around September 22nd, 23rd, because I said on my notes here, I talk about having some issues, decided to unravel and start fresh, which I started. And then we had a call like the next day where I only knit like 2 rows, and we decided that I should just start over again and make the next size up. So, and then it says here, October 2nd, I separated body and sleeves. So it's going pretty fast, but I've been working on it. It just feels good to work on it. And I always say this every time, Kelly, I love knitting with handspun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and especially the contrast. I don't know why,
but I do.
Especially the contrast between handspun and old acrylic.
Yes. Orlon. And I've sent you, I think there's pictures in my project page, but normally when I do like a combo spin, I alternate skeins, but I decided, we talked about this before, but in this project, I've decided not to. I'm just knitting with just one ball of yarn and letting that color play out as it transitions. Yeah. And I don't know if you can, I think I posted pictures in my Ravelry page. I think it looks really nice how the striping is. It's very subtle striping.
Yeah, I like the striping. You sent me a picture, but I think you have a more recent picture on your project page. It's just really pretty. It's just, I don't really get I don't really get a sense of the green from the pictures, but I'm sure in person you really can see the green more. It looks more brown and pink in the photographs. Yeah,
I will say the green is very subtle in there. I mean, of course, I'm sitting there knitting on it, right? So to me, it seems more pronounced. It doesn't really show up in the picture. I do think that picture of it on my Ravelry page, I think I took it at night. Yeah. So I really should go out and take a picture out in the daylight or something, to get a... but I would not say the green is really pronounced. I don't think you would look at it and go, oh, it's green.
Well, and it's a soft green. It was if I'm remembering from your spinning, it was a really soft green, and then in combination with the pink and the brown.
Yes.
It does read more brown. It's a very kind of
soft, sagey color.
Yeah.
I'll go out, I think today I'll try and get a better picture and post on there for the... But anyway, I'm loving knitting on it. I'm really happy, and I'm going to be very careful when I wash and block it. I just
have you tried it on?
Yes, I did.
Oh, cool!
I tried it on, and I think it's going to fit. It's going to fit really well.
Good,
I think so.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that, and then. My other project, when I went to the beach, I brought my spinning wheel, and I am spinning fiber that I got at when I went to Fiber Fusion in Monroe, Washington, and it's from a company called Sheridan Flats, and it's the colorway is called Kaleidoscope, and it's like mostly blue, some purple, green, some yellow in there, some burgundy, some dark navy blue. But it's gonna spit, but it's roving, so that color goes all the way through consistently. So it's what am I trying to say? It wasn't dyed afterwards. It's those fibers were put into the roving. What's a better way of saying that, Kelly? You're better at this than like they blended the colors into the roving.
Yeah. It's like a blended roving. Maybe is a good way to describe it, rather than a roving that was painted. Yeah, like the one that you are knitting with right now. That was a roving that was painted.
Correct.
Dyed in sections, whereas this is blended, dyed in the wool and then blended into roving. It's really pretty. Marsha sent me a picture of it. And the little flecks of color in the yarn are just really beautiful.
Well, in fact, Kelly, I spun more. I'm going to send you another picture. There's more on and it's in better light too. I'm going to send this to you right now.
It's a theme. The lighting of our pictures that we send to one another, usually at night.
Anyway, but it's interesting. So it's 80% sheep wool, 15% mohair, and 6% silk, which I do not believe adds up to 100. But anyway, I think it's 101, isn't it? Anyway, but the sheep's wool, that 80% sheep's wool is Wensleydale, Finn, and Gotland. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's an unusual mix.
And it says here the staple length is 4 to 5 inches. So I'm really enjoying spinning it. And then I also wanted to say, Kelly, and I put this in the show notes and a link in here, but I think I talked about this before, but the mill that spun or processed the roving is Olympic Yarn and Fiber. And I put a link in there in the show notes, and they're located in Cosmopolis, Washington. And that's the mill that we toured, remember, years ago. She was located in Brady, Washington at that point, and she's moved the mill. And so we spent the whole day with her. We toured the mill, and then we went and had lunch, and I mean, it was an amazing
saw the place
day.
in Cosmopolis before it was even. I mean, she had all of her equipment was on order from Italy and hadn't arrived yet. Yeah, it was a very interesting day.
So anyway, it's her fiber, and you can buy her fiber online.
Okay,
the bulk roving.
You'll have to stop in there to the new, the mill that we didn't see it in operation. One of the times when you drive down that way. Wasn't there a coffee shop next door or something?
Yeah, there was a coffee shop, in the building. So it's I remember the building that she purchased and moved her mill into. The back of it was the old city hall, Cosmopolis City Hall. So she was in the back of the building, and then the front of the building was divided into two parts. One was a women's clothing shop, and the other was a coffee shop. So we should, next time you come up here, we should just drive down there.
Yeah, do a little field trip. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I often our newspaper building, the Salinas Californian, which I guess the newspaper still exists, but it's quite small now. You know how local newspapers have sort of died away. It was only like 6 days a week, and then it went down to 3 days a week or something. Anyway, they used to occupy a large building on Alisal, just down the street. And, I walk past it all the time, and I always wonder about the building. It's the old building, probably WPA era. And I always walk past it. Now, this is never going to happen. It's not a real, actual plan, but it's one of those fantasy plans. I often will think when I go by it, like when I walk past the building, I often think, I would love to buy that building and put a spinning mill in there. And I mean, the building is huge. It's for sale or for lease. I don't know if it's for sale or lease, but it's huge. It would more than hold milling equipment and dyeing equipment and like storage for fleeces, and you could probably raise sheep inside the building.
Shop.
It's so big. Yeah, it's not really set up.
And a wine bar in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I guess if you went inside, I don't know what it looks like inside. I don't think I ever went in there when it was the newspaper building. But anyway, I walk past it all the time and have little, fantasies about buying it and opening a mill like the one in, when she talked to us about the mill she was opening in Cosmopolis. Like, oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful roving, and I'm really enjoying it. And I was just looking at her website, and I don't think she has all the colors because I remember there was a really bright orange. Maybe there's one called Citrus Menagerie. That could have been the orange that I was really interested in too. But I don't see the color I bought, Kaleidoscope. I don't see on her website right now. But she probably, changes them and obviously has to buy more fleece and have it processed and
right. Well,
but she has nice colors.
And you said the company that actually had the roving made is called Sheridan Flats. So maybe she doesn't even
Sheridan Flats.
Maybe she doesn't even carry that one because it was a spinning job she did for someone else.
Oh, well, I bought it from Sheridan Flats.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
My roving.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not
your roving wouldn't show up on her website, or you're looking at the.
Oh,
Sheridan
I'm on the Sheridan Flats website. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But probably, I'm sure when she runs out of a color, she runs out of that color and has to have more made, right? And so that's why it's just not on the. But anyway, really pretty. I would definitely buy more. Not that I need more, but. And actually, let me
because you have 24 ounces, Marsha. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's a sweater quantity. And then some, probably.
Mm-hmm. That's a good amount.
She's going to be October. Oh, wait a minute. 18th and 19th? What's the today?
15th.
I don't even know what today is. Huh?
The 15th.
Oh, okay. So this weekend, the 18th and 19th, she's going to be, Sheridan Flats is going to be at the Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival in Oregon. I think it's in Canby, Oregon, I think. I'm not 100% sure about that. Oh, no, wait a minute. I take it back. The fine print, due to low stock, Sheridan Flats will not be vending at Oregon Flock and Fiber, which makes sense why a lot of the colors are not on our website. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but that's it for me for projects.
All right. Well, I have a finished project that I had not even started at the time of our last recording, which is always fun to start and finish a project in that quick of a time. Of course, we did go an extra week between recording, but even so, I think I finished this hat. It's a hat. I started it. So Robert's family calls him Moose. And he's been called Moose since he was a baby. And everybody in Robert's family has nicknames. That's just something that their family always did. Everybody has a nickname. So he was always called Moose. I don't call him Moose because I met him as Robert. Everyone at school called him Robert. But anyway, his birthday was at the end of September. And the day of his birthday, I just thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make him this moose hat. It's been in my queue for a long time. Kathy Straight Fork made it for her husband and brother-in-law, I think she said, because they were going moose hunting. And so when I saw it, when she made it, this is a couple of years ago, I think, I thought, I'm gonna put that in my queue. So it's been sitting at the top of my queue in Ravelry for a very long time. And I thought, I'm just going to make this hat. So I dug around in my stash for yarn, and I actually decided that I was going to break up sweater quantities if I had to make this hat. And so I used the Shetland that I had started making the maple vest last year, but that I ended up not having enough. So I dug out that Shetland for the dark brown, and then I had some Columbia silk that I had spun, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And I took one of those skeins out, and neither one of them was the right weight So I had to hold it double, which is a little bit heavier than the weight that was called for by the pattern. But I thought, oh, it's fine. I'll just use it. And it did turn out fine. It's very thick because it's color work, right? You've got the strands.
Right.
So it's thick that way, but it's also thick because the fabric is very dense with the two strands held together. So the yarn being a little bit too thick for the needles made it quite stiff. So it's a warm hat, a really warm hat, and he's been wearing it. He really likes it. It's got moose and trees on it, and it had something I haven't done before on a hat, but I thought, oh, this is really fun. A hemmed brim instead of ribbing.
Yeah, so that makes it extra warm too, because not only is the fabric thick, but then it's a double layer around the ears. You know?
So there's a true double layer around the ears of 2 layers of knitted fabric. And then the rest of the hat is just, the doubling that happens when you do stranded color work and you have threads going across the back. Anyway, really fun. I did have to look up about the dominant color and how you make sure that you have the right dominant color. And I did think as I was knitting it that there were certain times where I think I wanted the white to be the dominant color, even though it was the background. There were certain times where I thought to myself, I should probably be switching to make the white the dominant color in this particular, like the eye of the moose. And I didn't, but it made me kind of think about that idea of what's the background and what's the foreground. And sometimes the white was the background, and sometimes the white was the foreground. So it was an interesting project and a lot of fun and very addictive. I mean, I just wanted to keep knitting to see the picture emerge, which was really fun. So, and a hat is it's a quick project anyway. But I'd sit and knit on it at night, and I'd be like, okay, Robert, I finished I got to the top of the back. Okay, Robert, I got to now the nose is done. Now I'm at the antlers. And I'd show him and had him try it on a couple of times. It is difficult to try on a hat with a hemmed brim before you've actually hemmed it. So I'd have to hold the hem up and hand it to him with my hands in it, try to get it on his head. Anyway, because I was worried that maybe it would be a little too tight. I was, trying to make the color work not get too tight. And I did not swatch.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. I have a question about that hem. So do you stitch it after you finish the hat, or do you put it on like a provisional cast on and then knit it together and then start the body of the hat?
The pattern didn't. Yeah, the pattern didn't say, and I just sewed it. I have done a hem on a sweater before where you knit it in as you're knitting the round where it fits. You actually knit the provisional cast on stitches in with your stitches in some way. I can't remember exactly how that worked, to be honest, but there was knitting involved instead of sewing it down. But I sewed it was easy to sew down, and it doesn't, you can't really see, you can't see it at all. So, and then it had a row of yarn over knit together where the bend is. And so when you turn it, you've got like little, not like, it makes it sound like, how you have like at the top of socks, you sometimes have like a lacy little scallopy edge. It doesn't look like lace at all, and it doesn't really look scallopy, but it just gives a definition. It just gives a definition to the edge that I thought was really nice. I've also seen people do it where they do a purl row, and then the row of purl bumps is the turning point. But I liked doing the yarn overs and getting the little slightly pointy edge, jagged.
Yeah.
edge. So
Yeah, it's a nice detail.
yeah, I really liked it. It was a fun hat. I would recommend it. I was thinking it was a free pattern, but it wasn't. I actually had purchased it a while back, and I just already had it in my library because I knew I was going to make it at some point. So that is a finished project. I also finished a spirit yarn hat, and I brought it to school and left it on Friday and went back on yesterday, so Tuesday, and it was gone, which is always gratifying when you go look at the table and that your stuff is gone within a couple of days. So that was fun. And then I'm right now working on another one. I'm just trying to get, speaking of acrylic, I'm just trying to get finished with some of the acrylic that I have in my stash. Spirit yarn mostly from my mom. The one I'm working on now is actually a really nice. I think it might be the Knit Picks. It might be a Knit Picks one. It's pretty nice compared to the old fashioned. Like what you're working on. Acrylic yarn has changed a lot. But anyway, this one is in bright pink, and I'm on the crown of it. I'm almost done. I'll probably finish it. Maybe not during our podcast, but pretty quickly after. And that will be number 8. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, the dyeing continues. I used elderberry leaves, and I was hoping to get green, and that did not happen. I ended up with kind of a yellowy brown color, light. I mean, barely dyed color, but slightly yellow. So I think I might have let the pot get too hot because it really looked green for a while, and then after heating and cooling, the dye pot really just looked kind of brown. So I think I might have gotten the water a little too hot. So I'm going to try elderberry again, but I'm going to run out of leaves pretty soon. They'll start dropping their leaves pretty soon. So I'm not sure I'll be able to do elderberry this year. And then I had done walnut leaves and gotten a light brown. And so I went and picked up mostly shells. And I really don't know what kind of walnuts we have. I've seen the picture of the black walnuts that people use for dyeing of the plant, and I know that that's not what we have here. It's not a black walnut. The leaves are too big. And so then I looked at English walnut, and that's not right either. So I'm not really sure what kind of walnut we have in California that are in my neighbor's yard that I'm, the walnuts are have dropped, and the squirrels eat them. And so there's little piles of the hulls and the shells from the squirrels eating them and the crows eating them. So I just picked up all the scraps from that and then soaked it, cooked it for a little while, soaked it for about a week. And then I put it in a dye pot this past weekend, and I was able to get a darker brown, but not as dark as I thought it would be. It's kind of a medium brown. And I ended up soaking the wool, simmered and then soaked overnight, and then forgot to take it out and soaked overnight again. And so it soaked in the dye pot for quite a while after the simmering. And it's still not super, super dark brown. So I guess it's different. Black walnuts are different, maybe have more dye potential than the kind of walnuts that we have. I like it. It's not, it's not a bad color. It just, I was expecting it to be a little darker. So that's the most recent dye experiments, elderberry and walnut. And my next plan is to do loquat leaves. There are a couple of trees over by one of the schools, the local schools, and I'm going to go see if I can harvest a few leaves off the tree and try those.
And remind me again what color you think you'll get from the loquat.
I'm hoping for pink. I might get orange. I've seen different results that people have gotten, sort of corally, anywhere from orange to kind of a corally pink to kind of a dusty pink. So we'll see what I can get. I'm experimenting. And there was an article in the New York Times yesterday, I think Robert sent it to me, about a couple from Mexico who live in the Portland area and weave and sell their work and kind of how they got started. And anyway, he said, they're doing natural dyeing and they got red. And I'm like, well, there's only one way I know to get red, and that really red, and that's cochineal. He's like, no, they got red. And anyway, when I read that, and I said, and my experience with that is it comes out more pink, kind of magenta-y color. He's like, no, they got red. So anyway, he sent me the article and I read it, and it was cochineal. It showed them, it's one of those articles that has video in it, and it showed them grinding the cochineal bugs and creating the dye pod, and it does look red. The dye looks red, and maybe it's mixed. Maybe it's first dyed with one thing and then cochineal over dyed to get it to look kind of a burnt, like a kind of a rusty red color rather than the magenta pink that we got when we dyed with the cochineal. So anyway, I've even got Robert noticing about natural dyes now. So, and then two last things. One is that I am ready to actually start throwing the shuttle on the chenille rug project. I got the warp wound. I got it dressed onto the loom. And then the other day, Monday, when it was so rainy, I came home and I thought, okay, I'm gonna work on this project. And so I went to go see what I had to do next. And of course, what I had to do was wind the weft for the hem. And so it says to use 5 strands of yarn, the cotton, the warp, that 8/4 cotton. Wind 5 strands of it for the weft for the hem, which makes sense because you don't want the hem to be real thin compared to the rest of the project. But I didn't have 5 colors that I wanted to actually show in the hem, of my, spirit yarn, which is what I've been doing, is using it as a stash buster, right? So what I wanted was a green hem, because the chenille is mostly green, or has a lot of green in it. So I wanted a green hem. So that meant I had to wind. So I decided I would use, it was a little thinner. It's that that cotton that you got at the Goodwill. You got green and gray and red.
Right. Yes.
That you gave to me. So I took one of those cones of green and I wound it into balls on the ball winder. And then I, pulled from the inside and the outside from each of the balls, and I wound 6 strands of that. It's a little thinner than 8/4. So I wound 6 strands from 3 different balls. But I was like, okay, I wanted to start weaving. I didn't want to be winding balls of cotton yarn so that then I would have 6 strands to wind onto my shuttle. Anyway, but I did it. In the middle of it, I'm winding, and this happens sometimes when I wind cotton. If I go too fast and I don't have the tension right, the ball goes flying off the ball winder.
Yeah.
So then I have to retrieve it. Then there's a big tangle. I have to untangle the tangle. Anyway, so but now I have the shuttle is wound with the weft for the hem. It's all tied on. It's all ready to go. I'm ready to throw the first pick. And so today, I don't have a night class tonight. So when I am done with work today, that is happening. So you'll get some pictures, and maybe. And maybe just for our listeners, I will actually put a picture. I'll have a picture by the time the show gets published. I'll have a picture of the actual rug being woven with this chenille, because I think this is a pretty exciting project.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm really interested in it.
Yeah,
and I also just want to. You didn't put it on the street loom, right? You're using your loom. Yeah, I mean, well, they're both your looms, but you know what I mean. Your original loom.
The sidewalk loom is not ready for action yet. It needs a brace.
Oh, sidewalk loom. That's what we're calling it.
That's what I call it.
Street loom.
I call it the sidewalk loom, and it's in need of a brace between the back beam and the castle on one side, and it's just it's one of those things. It's got installed. Robert said he was going to help me with it, but he's busy rebuilding the pillars on the house and the cracked pillars. So he's sculpting concrete or mud or whatever it's called to fill in the cracks. And so he's got projects. So anyway, we haven't gotten any further on that, but I was able to do the rest of it, but I think I need help for what to do about the brace. So that loom, hopefully I could do something with it before the end of this, before the end of 2025. That's my goal. But anyway, the chenille rug was in the hand woven summer 2024 issue, and fairly quickly, our friend Kelly, who has the travel van, made one for her van. And I had been kind of interested in it when I saw it in hand woven, but my first thought was, oh my gosh, you have to basically you're weaving the yarn that you're using, and then you have to weave the rug. And my first thought was, oh my God, that's a lot of work. But really all of it goes so quickly. Like I have a long gap in between weaving the chenille and actually weaving the rug, but weaving the chenille was very fast, and now weaving the rugs I know will go quickly because the chenille is so thick. So yeah, it's like a rag rug, right? As you experienced, weaving the actual weaving of the rug, throwing the shuttle goes pretty quickly. So I'm excited to do that tonight, and I hope my plans come to fruition. I was a little disappointed on Monday night that I didn't get as far as I wanted to. So anyway, and then the go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
Oh, I was going to talk about my last project. So were you going to say something about the chenille rug?
No, I wasn't. I'm going to go back about your dye pots, but I'm going to go about color. But it can wait. So finish about your next thing here.
So the very last thing is that I swatched because I want to make a vest, and the maple vest with the Shetland didn't work out. I still want to make the maple vest, but I don't have a yarn that's quite right for it yet. But I decided to swatch with the hand spun that I made from the fleece called Jazzman. It's like a 10-pound fleece. It's the one that had the little Post-it note that said, Judith says perfect fleece. Even though it didn't place, she disqualified it from its class.
It was like in the wrong, she says the perfect fleece, but it's in the wrong category or something. It was entered in the wrong class.
Yeah. And she kind of chastised the growers were in the audience and the shepherds were in the audience, and she kind of chastised them for not putting it in the right category for the show. But anyway, it's beautiful fleece. It really is nice, very fine and pretty. And I had spun it, not this summer, but last summer, I think. And I have about 12 ounces of it, so a good amount for a vest. And so I swatched, and I have about 6 different options, but I just have to decide which of those options I want to use. So I'm just debating about the vest options. And I started looking through project pages, to see, and a couple of them are bottom up, and that's not really my favorite. So we'll see. I should be starting a new project pretty soon because I've got all the swatching done and I'm almost down to selecting the pattern. So stay tuned. And that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to go back to, this has nothing really to do about dyeing at all. It's completely unrelated, but it's interesting about color. So I have a rental property, and there had been a little bit of water damage, which that's been corrected, but the concrete floor in the utility room is painted. I painted it a gray, and that's 4 years ago. So I used the exact same paint. I mean, literally the same paint can of paint to touch up where it was damaged. It's a completely different color.
What?
I mean, it's gray. Yes, it's gray, but the ones are really, when I put it on, I noticed it was, and also I should say too, I did stir it up really well too, because I to get the color, because it does separate, right? If it's been sitting for a while, and I stirred it for a really long time, it's completely mixed up. So I don't think that's the issue, but it's a gray, and the one that was put down 4 years ago is significantly darker than the one that I put on, and I put it on, Kelly, I'll send you a picture. You can ask Robert about this too. I put it on last Tuesday, so it's been down a week. It's had a week to dry, and it's totally different, and I cannot figure it. It's so weird. Here, I'm gonna send you 2 pictures. And so what would make
maybe the aging of the one that's on the floor already?
I wonder if it just keeps curing and curing and curing over 4 years, and just gets, because I do know, let me just back up. I do know when you put fresh paint on, it dries darker, right? Than it looks like when you first put it on the wall. And oftentimes it'll be blotchy, and that all just goes away when it's dried. I don't know if the pictures came through or not, but isn't that it's so weird? It's because first I mean, when I went back because when I put it down, I noticed it was slightly different. It was lighter, but I thought, oh, it's going to dry. When it dries, it'll be dark and it'll blend. And I'm going to go back and put a second coat on too, because I knew I needed that. But when I went over, it was yesterday, I went over in the morning to go put the second coat down, and I'm like, it looks like I put the wrong paint down.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody knows anything about painting. And,
I see the picture.
Why? Because I'm going to take it back up to I bought it at the hardware store, this paint, and to see, because I've never had that problem. And I've done a touch up with paint that's been on the wall for years, right? And it blends. So I don't know. It's so odd. But it made me think about just the fact that, like, when we were talking about dyeing, there's particles suspended in the pot, right? And they have to attach to the wool. I don't think these paints are so fine that they actually, that's not what I want to say. I don't think it's such high quality paint where it's made in the old fashioned method where, like everyone goes on about Faro and Ball. And I think that's actually ground pigment suspended in the paint. I don't think this floor paint is like that.
Right.
But it's weird. Anyway, just an interesting thing that's about color and how we think it didn't turn out at all like I thought it would. It's just so strange, given that it's not even like it's not like I got a new pot of paint and it said it was the same color, but I understand manufacturing keeps changing, right?
Right.
This was the actual paint can.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe something in the aging process of the paint in the can. But that, like you said, you've done this before. So, yeah. That is
so
very interesting. Yeah. Well, and thinking about color also, since you brought it up, I continually find myself thinking a color is different than it really is. And it's like I can convince myself, like, even though I'm looking at it, I have the idea that it's green, and then I look at it and it looks green. And then when I really look at it, or someone else looks at it and they say, oh, that's gray. And then I look at it more carefully against other colors and I realize, oh my gosh, yes, it's gray. That whole idea that you get, the whole thing that where you get an idea of what the color is in your head and then you just think you know what it is, even though you don't. And I did that sort of with this handspun. I mean, part of it was I was remembering the fleece and the bag of fleece that was separated out from the rest was gray. Mm-hmm. But of course, gray fleece also has other colors in it. And in my head, these skeins of yarn, and I hadn't looked at them in a while, so this was part of it. I mean, that was part of it. So it's a little different than the first example I gave because I hadn't looked at it in a while. But in my head, as I was imagining this vest, I was imagining this like cool silvery gray color, like pale silvery gray color, kind of blue, toward the blue end of gray. Yeah. Rather than the brown end of gray. And of course, you know where this is going because most sheep are not that color. Right. Most sheep are toward the brown end of gray, not the blue end of gray. Especially the fine, the fine breeds, I think more tend toward that, where like Gotland is that cool silvery gray, right? And Romney a lot of times could be that cool silvery gray. Anyway, I went digging for the yarn and I couldn't find it. And I realized I couldn't find it because
you're looking for the wrong color. You're looking for gray.
I was looking for the wrong color, and the yarn actually turned out to be a light brown gray, right? So anyway, I had to laugh at myself because this picture in my head of this vest I was going to make had a particular color, and the yarn I have is not that color. It's still pretty and I still like it and I'm still going to use it. But I was just kind of cracking myself up because here I am looking and looking and looking for this yarn in a basket. And I'm like, I know it's in here. And I'm not looking at the labels at all. I'm just looking for the color. I know it's in here. Where is this yarn? I can't find it. And then I realized, oh, here's the label that says Jazzman. This is the yarn I'm going to be swatching. So, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny how we convince ourselves of things.
Well, and how colors read together, because I always talk about this, but the dish towels that you wove and sent to me, and I guess because you sent them to me at Christmas time, I think, I insist that they're red, white, and green, and they're red, white, and gray.
Oh,
I mean, it's clearly gray when you look at them, but when I read them, every time I get them out and I think of Christmas, and it's clearly gray, but I always read it as green. So there you go.
Yeah, it is funny how your mind just does a certain thing with colors. So yeah, and then all the mix of color. I mean, again, thinking about color, all the different mixes of colors. When I did the chenilles, my first batch of the chenille. The chenille was, all kind of muted colors, browns and greens and grays and some cream. I was just destashing, so I was just grabbing things, some gray in there too, but it's all really natural colors, kind of neutrals. And then those, as those finished, and I started adding new things in, I decided to add in some brighter colors. I had some Orlon, that mohair, that acrylic mohair in a bright green. And so I added that in, and then I had some actual mohair in red that I had tried to make a vest with and decided that I wasn't going to continue. So I ripped that out and I used that red mohair. So it's got some green and some red in it. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so bright. It's going to have to be a different rug. There's no way I can use them together. But when those balls of that chenille are all sitting together, they've been sitting together in my studio for a long time now, waiting. It's like, they're not that different. I mean, if you stripe, if you made a block, 5 inches of one and 5 inches of another, I'm sure you would be able to tell that they were different. Yeah. Yeah. But they're really not as different as I thought they would be, just because they're such a blend of, a mishmash of things. All those colors together kind of go neutral in a way. So anyway, color is an interesting beast. We have a new art teacher at work, and I was talking with him, and he was talking about creating a color theory class. There's already a design class that I've thought I wanted to take, but he was talking about, creating a color theory class. And I was thinking, okay, I want to do that. If he creates that class, I want to take an actual color theory class in the art department, because, both of us, have a lot of knowledge about how color works together, but it's different to actually take a class from an artist, So anyway.
Yeah. No, that would be interesting. Okay. Well, we have to watch our time here, Kelly. So our last thing we need to talk about is our home along. So it's underway. It ends December 31st, and your craft of choice and any item that's for the home. So your home or someone else's home. And I think what I'm saying is it's anything that doesn't go on your body. Is that a way of saying it's for your home? I don't know.
Think
so we were thinking, pillows and Afghans and rugs and
things you don't
cozies.
wear.
Yeah. Dishcloths. Yeah. Anyway, so that's underway. People are. Oh, and Kelly, do we have a finished object to pay?
I didn't create one, kind of because I just thought maybe the conversation would be more fun.
Okay.
But I don't know. Let's hear from people. Do you want me to create a finished object thread? And we can draw prizes from both, or we can draw prizes from one. I kind of like the discussion, because then you can comment on people's work.
Yeah, I know.
so
anyway, you know what? Maybe we should just. We'll get feedback and decide what we want to do.
Give us some feedback. What do you think? Would you prefer just one thread with all the finished things in it?
And comments.
Yeah. With.
I'm saying what you're saying. Do you want
one thread with just finished and one with chat, or just one thread with everything all together?
Yeah. I got to get going on mine. Well, I guess this deer scarf fits into the category, right?
Yes, it's someone else's home, but yes, it does.
Someone else's home, and I'm not wearing it, and a person's not wearing it. A concrete deer sculpture is wearing it.
It's definitely a home decor item. Yes, lots of gnomes have shown up in the thread. I think there's some people who are going to be doing blankets. I remember seeing a blanket or two in there. Yeah, so I'm excited to get going on this rug, which actually fits both the winter weave along and the home along. And you know what? We need to start the winter weave along. We don't have that in our thread, but it's time to start. It's mid-October, which is usually when we start the winter weave along. So I'll open the winter weave along thread as well. Or maybe I did that already. I might have done the weave along thread already.
And I will put it in the show notes. So this is on the fly. So it's starting. Winter weave along is starting now. Is underway. Okay. And when is it going to end? Is it
end of March?
Doesn't it?
Yeah, March 31st. Okay. Yeah, and I already have. It looks like, just double checking. Yeah, I have the 25-26 winter weave along thread in the Ravelry group already. And it already has 113 posts.
Oh, okay. We're way behind.
Yeah. I don't remember when I opened it up. But anyway, there are people weaving in this thread. And it's always a lively thread. We have a lot of people who like to weave and talk about weaving in addition to their other stuff. So the home along is a way for people who aren't weaving to also participate, and also to get Marsha and I going on some of our home projects that we wanted to do. I have a punch needle rug that I'd like to do. I have some throw pillows I'd like to do. So anyway, I better get a move on.
Yeah, we have to get going. So, okay. And speaking of getting going, we should probably get off the phone because you have to get ready for your Zoom call, and I have to get ready for my next event of the day.
Right.
Which is not exciting. It's just taking the dog for a walk. So
you have a play date.
Okay. Yeah. Play date. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Well,
Marsha.
we'll talk.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2Us
doing our part for World Fleece.